Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. So fresh. Before continuing to answer the question from many people. Thank you, my students asking me this question. Trigger. Mr. What do you think about trigger? Okay, trigger. Yes, okay. Trigger, it means anyway, basically trigger it is pemicu ya, pemicu. Because pemicu, I know what you want to say here. What triggers you to learn English? What triggers you? What triggers you to learn English? What triggers you to learn everything? Okay, what triggers you? Apa yang men-trigger Anda? Yeah, this is the good question that I can help you to understand. Yes, to speak English, to learn English, many people they have different trigger, right? Okay, for myself, my trigger, because I realized since I was child, I lived with my family, and my family here, because in basic English course, for sure, my parents can as English teacher. I remember, let me remember. Yeah, I remember at the time when I was child, my friends they were thesis students. And they gave me the environment, and finally I saw my father. I watched the performances from Mas TC at the time. I remember it triggered me so much. It triggered me a lot. And finally I wanted to learn English. At the time I decided to make decision in my life. Okay, I think it is cool language. And moreover, when I saw my father could speak in front of many people, and also many people could inspiration from him, yeah, it was my trigger, right? And I want to help my father, also it is the trigger for me. Nah, the power of trigger, jadi pengaruh dari trigger, pengaruh dari pemicu mengapa Anda cinta sebuah bahasa, cinta dari bahasa Inggris, ya. The trigger, what triggers you to learn English? Find it, please find it. If you haven't found it, usually your intention to learn it is little bit low. Imagine, for example, you are from village and you can have intention, oh, I learn English because I want to help my parents. I realize I am from Bali, example, I am from Bali, okay, many people, I can find many foreigners. If I cannot speak English, oh my god, I cannot help my parents. Yes, so it means I speak English because I want to show Bali, I want to become the guide, guide, okay, because if I can become the guide, I am the native from Bali, then I can help many people. From there, I can become professional guide, I can have a good income to help my family, to help my social life, and then my neighbors, etc. It is trigger. What triggers you speak English? Oh my circle, I want to become the international YouTuber. Impossible if I have only Japanese. Oh, that's good, no problem. And then what are triggers? Okay, what is your trigger right now? Please find out. If your trigger only to learn English because I follow my friends, I don't think so. It's good. Because however, the trigger should be something very strong. If possible, imagine standard on the trigger. If you don't do that, you cry. If you don't do that, you will feel so regret. So, come on, y'all. This is Mr. Fu. Actually, my family they live in America. So yeah, I don't have basic in English, and finally I need to have this basic. So I need to learn English. So your level is not I want to study English. Change. I need to study English. Not I want to be smart, but you say I need to be smart. Not I want to understand the lesson, but you say I need to understand the lesson. Yes, I think your first structure, the first sentence that you need to change to trigger yourself. Not I want to speak English, but I need to speak English. I need English. Yeah. If you have found your trigger, you can find your beautiful moments in learning. So you will find that every struggle, it is your process, and you will always remember it is your process, right? I remember the trigger from Mr. Cullen at the time. The trigger because he realized when he was still in Gontor at the time, one of the friends graduated from university, and at the time Mr. Cullen asked him, okay, why do you still study here? And then his friend answered. His friend who graduated from university answered. Yeah, because I couldn't speak English, then I need the system, and then Gunter is a good system at the time. Also, Mr. Cullen at the time, good inspiration. It means if the person in front of me and he has graduated from university and he couldn't speak English, it means if I can speak English, it means I could help many people. I will be able to help many people, and many people will become my students for this skill. So yes, I focus on English. I must make English becomes a friend of my future. So good trigger from Mr. Colin. And what is your trigger? Okay, answer the trigger. Answering for the next question. Okay, I can say yep. Door of love, pintu cinta. Oh, okay, pintu cinta belajar bahasa itu macam-macam guys ya. So you will find so many doors of love. Banyak kali cinta, pintu cinta belajar bahasa. Yeah. Also it is correlated. I think they have something in common, trigger and door of love. Good. Anyway, let me give you a little illustration. When you watch I don't know, I don't like Korean drama, but sometimes I learn from my students they like, even they could understand about Samyang, they could understand the dance, they could see many episodes. Even I ever asked all my students, hey, how many times could you see this Korean? Oh sir, come on, one day, how could you do that? And finally she could say, because most of them the lovers of Korean usually it calls. And then I asked them, oh yeah, they could understand the food, the culture, the city, the makeup, everything about Korea, because the movie actually the first trigger I can say, jadi pemicu pertamanya itu adalah suka nonton. So watching the trigger from the movie the first time, or boy band sometimes, and finally they got inspiration, and finally they learn all about the cultures. Also, if you like English, example you love English, actually I dislike the lesson, Mr. Fu, but I like the movie. No problem. Maybe your movie it is your door. Your movie it is your first trigger to love English. Jangan-jangan Anda cintanya bahasa Inggris karena nonton movie. Nah, ini dia. Terkadang manusia itu ketemu pintu cintanya masing-masing gitu ya. So they will find the different trigger, or I can say door of love, or I can say different trigger to love English. So maybe from the music, because you like the music the first time, and finally you are interested in knowing the meaning, or in knowing the translation of that music, and finally you are triggered to learn English more. That is possible. And then yes, for next question, I'm going to continue for the next episode. So creative question, Mr. Fu, do you always synchronize, and many people yeah, blah 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 blah. Good. If you want to know about the next question or the next discussion, just wait and see. Don't forget watch, share, and then subscribe. Why? Jariah di era milenial adalah subscribe-mu jariahmu gitu ya. Who knows, when you give your subscribe, and then many people can get the benefit from this video. So thank you so much, and happy learning, happy growing. Bye bye.